Well, all right, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Planet Gen X podcast. I'm your host, Sean. That over there is Brian. How's it going, my man?
It's going all right. It's good to be back from the mountains.
Yeah, man, you were gone. I did this stupid little Friday the 13th podcast, and you had a good old time, but you got banged up a bit, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah, check that out, man.
It happened at the very end, man.
Does it have a stitch in it, or did it?
It doesn't. It's just open wound.
Right on. Those are the best.
Yeah.
So, I don't even remember where you said you were going. Where did you go?
We stayed at. Oh crap! I'm having like. Anyways, the Laurel Gap Shelter is where we stayed. The trail that we were on, I can never remember the name of when I need to. It is one of the more difficult hikes, apparently, in the area.
What state is this?
This is in North Carolina, Cherokee.
Okay.
National Park out there.
All right.
It's kind of in the northeastern area of that park. It is, going up to the AT and part of the AT. It's like, getting up to the main ridge line. So I think it was about 5,000 foot of elevation change, 33 to 50% grade on the ascent for the first 3 quarters. It's 4.5 miles. So it was just, humping it the whole way up, right?
Yeah.
Had a little bit of a down on our way in. I didn't sleep that night. It was colder than it was supposed to be. I did not have a bag that was rated for the temp I was at. I left my poncho at home as well as some other things.
Damn.
But, the mantra of the entire trip was just, the grit is the reward, This is not a trail that most people take because there is no vistas. There's no great view. It's just a hump of a trip. You're going up a mountain, baby. That's what's going on.
Yeah. So how did you hit your head?
So unfortunate thing, it was a little bit wet as well. It was fairly dry when we got in, but a lot of this area, the lower parts of the AT, are covered in scree, no matter where you go. As soon as you start getting to the up, all of the rockfall is collected at the bottom of the mountain, as should be expected.
Yeah.
It does cause a walking hazard, and when it is wet, that's the funny thing. Despite everything else on the trip, everything else was fine. We didn't run into wildlife. I made it. I'm not even really sore now anymore. I'm just working a few kinks out, but coming out at the very bottom of the elevation, I hit those rocks, and like it was the last few steps of rocks I had, and I lost my footing. Ass came down, feet came out, and there was a mossy rock that just looked like moss that I was headed towards, and pop.
Damn. Popped your noggin right on it?
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
And I felt it.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Yeah.
So you got a concussion, you said?
Possibly a minor. There were some headaches. I didn't go to sleep. I can still count and do most things normally. I'm not slurring my speech.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay. So.
Yeah, it was probably a minor concussion.
Yeah.
No fun.
No time lost or anything big. So it was just, a painful souvenir.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, it's something you will be able to talk about for years to come. You'll never forget that for sure.
Yeah, last time I was on the AT, right?
Yep, there it is. So,
some bad news from your house, huh?
Well, yeah, we had to put down my oldest cat. We still got the 2 kittens, but Gracie, she was 8 going on 9. She would have been 9 in April. And, it was kind of, we still don't really know what happened because she got like sick to where she almost looked like she was dead, and then she just bounced back and was eating, drinking, and then her side of her face swelled up, and then after her face, the swelling came down. She had still had an abscess, and so I took her to the vet, And they're like, well, she's lost weight because she wasn't eating as much, and they were worried about her weight, so they wanted to check her blood, make sure she was all good to be put down so they could see what was going on with her face. They get her blood work back, and they say, well, she's got kidney problems. She's going to have problems even beyond, we're sketchy about putting her to sleep. And I said, well, you're not telling me anything I'm surprised about, because she drinks a lot of water. She always has since she's been a little cat. You know me, I'm the cat whisperer. This is not my first rodeo with cats. I've had one have kidney issues before. Zoe, my first cat, she passed away. I had her put down for the same reason, for kidney failure. And I just know what they'd have to go through, and then you weigh in whether she'd even survive being put down to have her face looked at. And
right. How miserable they are, the amount of finances you have to put into it just to, watch your animal decline in health regardless, right?
Yeah. And no matter how much money you can throw at it and want to make it right and keep them around for a while, you're being selfish by doing that, because they can't tell you.
Their quality of life is not that great, right?
Yeah, and they can't tell you, hey, I don't want to live like this.
Yeah.
And it was hard. It was the hardest thing I've done. I had Zoe put to sleep. It hurt. It broke me up, but shoot, man. Yeah, this was not a good day yesterday.
I've only had the one pet like that, Des. I raised him from a pup. I lived I can't even remember exactly how long it was, but it was about 16 years. And yeah, just kind of a similar thing. He got kind of ill, wasn't really interested in eating. I switched him to soft food, and I stayed on him, and he seemed to get better. And then just one day he stopped moving, didn't get out of his dog bed and stuff like that. And took him to the vet, and they were like, hey, he's not getting oxygen. Apparently his wasn't kidney, his was cancer. Apparently some dog breeds get cancer above their stomach area.
Yeah.
Interferes with their breathing, and that's what happened to him, and I had to put him down. I don't know, man. After a decade, that's almost like putting your kid down.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was telling my wife today that I didn't really understand why it hit me so hard, but then I thought about it, and she's my first cat since Zoe, who was my first cat. And yeah, we were pretty attached to Gracie and I. She was a good kitty, and she loved me, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, nobody loves you like your pet, right?
Yep.
And you'll always have those special moments that you shared with them, and they were just between you two, right? Whether it was just maybe them making biscuits on you while you were watching something.
That's right.
Right?
Yep. Yeah. So
salute to those gone but not forgotten.
Yep. We love you,
our
Grace.
loyal friends.
But anywho, yeah, it's left me in kind of trying to get this show, something for it together.
Yeah.
Kind of null and void. Scrambling around trying to think of something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to try and paint a picture of any other way. I just don't have anything really today, but you had something else you were telling me about earlier too that you want to talk about.
Well, I've already mentioned it, I think once or twice on here, is I wanted to start kind of I don't know what to call it. I've just been calling it the Music Appreciation Podcast, the thing I want to do on my own channel.
Yeah.
And I just have an objective, a goal, a mindset about it of this is what I need to make happen. This is my deadline, things like that concerning it. But I do hope to have the first episode in the can before Christmas. That is the end goal. There's plenty of time to get that done, but there's a lot going on in the next couple of months for most people, right?
Yeah. Well, what's your idea? Do you have a overall mission statement you could tell people what's your idea?
Not offhand. Basically, what I want to do is I want to take apart, I would say artists, singular, not bands. But obviously there would be some bands. So the question is how I'm separating it and whatnot. The first one, obviously, I'm going to go with like big showman performers for my first few, and just kind of go over the material, what was going on at the time, how it's special, how, like, this song or this album exists in a special place, right? I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
But just something along those lines, just showing appreciation for shit I dig.
Right on. Cool. Yeah, I'm sure people will like to check that out for sure.
Check it out. Corvus Pedis. That is going to be. It is linked here, is it not? Corvus Pedis. PDIS.
I have no idea.
Anyway, it will be linked at some point, and I look forward to, like, obviously I want to do some heavy metal stuff at some point, and that will be obviously within your wheelhouse, and I would like to have you on to do some of that.
I like it a metal.
Yes.
Indeed. Of course, I don't ever really listen to anything new. Isn't that weird?
Me neither. I mean,
it's
like, it's all,
really.
like, Static X is new for me, right?
Yeah.
It was all Iron Maiden, Metallica, and Megadeth, and all that when I was younger. Those are still my go-tos, right?
Yeah, I mean, like the radio we listen to, it's like all our music from the 80s is now on the classic rock channel.
Yeah.
We listen to a lot of classic rock channel when we're on, driving around or whatever. My wife.
We did whip out some Descendants and Propaganda on the way back from the mountain, and that was kind of cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
used to do Quicksand. I don't know if you remember them.
They're not quite Quicksand. Yeah. I used to have this EP of theirs. It was rocking.
Yeah. We used to listen to them like the whole time when we went out climbing. And it was great. And I that's one of the elements of these trips I look forward to, is just jamming out to some good old nostalgic rockin' music.
Yeah. Man, you're making me think that old Quicksand album I had a killer fucking, I think it was the first song on that thing. It was just killer drum beat on it. The whole song was just, yeah. Wish I could remember that. But yeah, it was only like a 5-song album. It was his early stuff for them, early days. Of course, I remember hearing about them when I was in high school, late senior year of high school. I remember hearing about them.
Yeah. I think it may have been before that, but it was still high school for me.
Yeah, it would be about like 93, 94, the first time I heard them.
I dug it. I don't listen to them. They're not on any of my favorite playlists, but anytime I go to the mountains, if I'm going climbing, hiking, anything like that, I want to hear them and stuff like that.
It reminds me of the days too, because that's back when we listened to a lot of the Victory Records stuff in that Snapcase banner. Remember that?
Yeah.
That fucking Nate face. Because I love you. I don't have to say. I don't know you, but you know me. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Descendants didn't last too long. We listened to it for about 5 songs, and then it was like, great, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Have it back.
Oh, good old days, man. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was watching, we started watching Silver Spoons. You remember that show?
I remember that.
I used to love that show as a kid. So I love some Aaron Gray. I may have mentioned that a time or two.
I think you have.
Yeah. And she's in it, of course. This was right after Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
So we've been watching that, and it's interesting because it seems like my wife likes it because she actually asks to watch it, in which case that makes me believe she actually wants to. Not being forced to just kind of watch it because I am.
Right.
But last night we were watching an episode, and I had forgotten, first of all, that Jason Bateman was in that show.
Right. Yeah.
And I used to love, dude, I loved that show as a kid. But yeah, I've always had a thing. I've always liked Jason Bateman. There's just something about him that just about everything he's in, man, he just adds so much to it. And it's always watchable. Like, it's like usually really good comedy or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the elephant in the room when it comes to Bateman, right?
Well, how many ways? I mean, like you got his sister and.
Well, not only that, like obviously his sister growing up in the business and all that, but the one with Sarah, Sarah.
Oh, you mean the oh shit.
And it had everybody in it.
Yeah, it's Arrested Development.
Show guys, yeah.
Yeah, it's great show. I mean, like, fabulous show. It's a show that should, like, this to me, I always thought funny. That is a show that's like, should have cursing in it, which it does, but it's all bleeped out.
Right.
And it still works.
Yeah.
And like, that's just the time that we grew up in. Like, we just dealt with that. Like, if you wanted to hear something racy on TV back then, you were going to have to deal with some bleeps. Yeah. But somehow it still worked for them because they didn't have to. They were on, they started out on Fox. So yeah, they would have had to on Fox.
Right.
But they ended up on, I forget where they ended up eventually doing some of their stuff, but I would believe it was, where they could have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
But I suspect they kept it consistent throughout just for a reason. They probably felt like it worked that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, like that got me way off over here where I was. The episode we watched last night had a very young, maybe 12 to 14-year-old Brad Pitt in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they were like a version of the Boy Scouts. They were the Badgers or something like that. And so they were going off camping. And dude, as soon as he comes on in the screen, he was the cool kid that everybody was looked up to. And bro, let me tell you what, it didn't matter that he was 12 years old. He was still cool as fuck. Let me tell you, Brad Pitt was still cool as fuck at 12 years old.
He's all, whatever.
I swear you gotta fucking watch it. It is so him just like he is now.
Right.
It's fucking weird. Because that just shows you when you're that fucking cool, you were always that damn cool.
Right.
Yeah. That struck me as funny. That's the only reason. It's the only thing I got on my fucking show notes. Is just that just struck me as crazy. That it just shows how you already can be already who you are at a certain age. Like I was very young when I knew who I was. Very young, probably about his age, because I was easily, I was handling myself easily at 9 and 10, 11 years old.
I don't know, man. I kind of feel like everything I was up until a certain point was shit I was told to be, right?
Yeah. Nah, man.
And that was a little late in life. That was like after high school, so.
Yeah, by the time I hit 10, man. And I always hung out with people who were older than me. So
I did too.
I was getting the benefit of just knowing things probably I shouldn't know yet, I guess.
Yeah.
Who knows? Can be bad and good.
Maybe.
I was being bad, but it was oh so good. No doubt.
I've been trying to get back to something and I can't remember what it was. I was trying to look for it yesterday, but after Ahsoka, I've just been turning off, man. I've been watching Teen Titans Go. It is some of the funniest shit to me. Mm-hmm. I love a lot of the voice acting in it. It really does not feel like I see it on a lot of the like family stuff, the listings for family stuff and guides and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it is not, in my opinion.
Yeah, a lot of those cartoons blur the line.
Full on for adult. Yeah.
For real. Dude, you talk about, I mean, like, if it wasn't for the stuff we had to watch, like Ahsoka and stuff, I probably wouldn't be watching TV. I watch TV to be in the same room with my wife, to hang out with her, and we, like watch something together in there. But honestly, man, I've got other stuff to keep me occupied. That may have been why I brought up, does anybody watch TV anymore besides the older folk? They're it as far as I can tell. And we belong in there, unfortunately, because we're still part of that, that grew up with it. So we still enjoy it.
Yeah, it's at the point to where it's going to have to pivot again, right? You you don't just have the strikes that went on and this crunch for all of the stuff that, suffered because of that, right? But also like all these, the big merger, right? Issues that Disney is having. And there's just like a whole lot of volatility overall in the media market.
Well, yeah, and then you got Discovery just bought all the stuff that AT&T just bought recently, so they've been shook up and shook up again.
Right.
The people working for them must have their heads spinning.
Yeah. So I imagine that there's going to be like a major change, a major dynamic going on, like in that sphere overall here soon.
Oh yeah, I no doubt. Are they still striking? I haven't even heard anything about that.
So the original strike, I think, was ended with concessions. Then there was the video game strike, and I don't know. That's kind of the last I heard. Was that was ongoing, like not really at full steam, right? But as far as I know, right now everybody is trying to get their asses in line for production.
Back to work. Yeah. That's good. That went on just about too long.
Yeah.
I think if since it's over, it went the right amount. But any length than it is just pushing it. It's like we said a couple weeks ago. It's high time that they figure out what the hell they want to do and do it. Somebody's got to
take a look at Reagan to figure out that actors can do it better than politicians, right?
Yeah. Well. Fuck. That's why Zelensky's over there in damn Ukraine running things.
Well, I just mean like as far as like they shut down Hollywood, whereas like politicians shut down our government, and it's like they strike, problems get solved, right?
Yeah.
Not so much in politics.
Hey, I'm not about. I'm almost curious. Let's see what happens. Let's shut it down. Fuck it. Let's shut it down for a while. But it ain't gonna fix shit. So fuck it.
It won't, and it's gonna hurt a lot of people in the meantime.
Have you seen that giant sphere in Las Vegas that they built recently?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking. Okay, so Microsoft has apparently got some kind of Xbox thing. I watched it earlier. It's like it's hard to describe. I mean, it's like a commercial for Xbox, right? But it's on this sphere, and bro, it's fucking wild because somehow it's using technology, 3D technology, to actually have shit coming out like at you, and that is fucking cool. And like watching it in the video, you can still see it, so that makes it even cooler. Right. I don't know what. Now I'm like, I'm thinking when this is over, I might be YouTubing all about that thing. To hopefully there's some kind of behind the scenes of how they control it, what they do, what the tech is, because I got to know. That's pretty cool.
I mean, it kind of feels like if you were to take like a home theater setup, like somebody who takes their home theater seriously and has like the seats and lighting and all that, like that, and we're to compare it to the volume, Lucas, this is like a 3D version, right?
Yeah, it's a reversed version of it.
Yeah, and that's what it feels like anyway, is like somebody took that idea of the volume and was like, hey, let's do 3D in there.
Right. Yeah. I just I don't know how they're pulling off the optical effect, but it is very cool. Technology. Yeah. Just the fact, dude, that thing is just the size of it, the number of LEDs in it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So yeah, I can't wait to check that out. But if you haven't seen the little Xbox thing, go check it out. I'm sure you can Google it somewhere and see it. But it's worth looking at. It's pretty neat. The one I saw had a bunch of people like talking in the background. It was annoying. It sounded like they were in a diner or something. In fact, I picture it as like one of those diners that rotates. Yeah, something like that. Because they were up high, looking down on it, and it looked, considering the size of it, it looked kind of small. So yeah, they were way up there. But yeah, it's cool. Anything else you got?
Wow, nothing offhand. We got We got any shows coming up at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because I was curious about that myself, which is one of the reasons I was saying I don't watch much TV. It would be literally to just do it for this. Probably Discovery.
Yeah.
Is next, if I had to take a guess.
I mean, you and I are both kind of meh on that, right?
Meh, but yeah, it's probably going to be. We'll probably react to it. Unless I'm just, not feeling it.
Right.
We'll see. But I think I'm trying to think. I don't think Disney's got any. I mean, unless Andor but with the strike, I don't know how this shit's going to shuffle out.
Yeah, as far as I know, all of the big production shit, such as Andor, is going back to principal, right? They don't have all of the material that they need for the season, right?
Yeah. I don't know what they've got in the can. Who knows? I mean, they may have been in just pre-production for all I know.
Yeah. Right.
Really don't know.
So, it'll be interesting to see what comes out next year. As of now, I don't know of anything.
Well, I can tell you we'll definitely react to the Doctor Who's when they come out here. So that'll probably be the next thing, actually.
Right, yeah. Good call. Yeah. I do look forward to watching those.
Yeah, so
I am going to just completely ignore everything before this.
But the new Who before it?
Yes.
Or at least the last incarnation before it?
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And which would cover Chibnall as the producer and everything. So yeah, you could just whitewash that whole thing. There's some major continuity established in his shit too. Like he explains her origin, and I did not like it.
Right.
I did not like it at all.
Well, don't tell me, because I can live in a fantasy land where that doesn't exist.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, basically made her a female and all, right? Like from the get-go, she was found as a girl. That's heavy continuity to lay on a television show when you only have it for a short time.
Yeah.
I hope somebody, well, I mean, I don't see, I don't know how you can, but I mean, as Doctor Who, continuity's always been loose with it. In the classic day, in modern times, it's been a lot better, but, yeah. Wouldn't mind a retcon of that season for sure. First season of her run, and then any major stuff like that they did. That's the kind of shit you save for like finale. 60th anniversary specials. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. Leave it to people who know. Like if Terrence Dix were still alive and he made it to the 60th special and they asked him to write this episode, like that's the guy you want laying down shit like that.
Right.
The classic writers, even the guys who started with New Who. So yeah, you know, now you have Russell T Davies back, and so I can kind of be cool with that because he kicked off New Who. I mean, he's the guy that knows New Who. I don't even know why I
did it right, in my opinion. Like, you know, my own feelings aside, you know, I did not experience Who until the revival. Personally, anyway, I mean, it had always been thrown around in the sphere.
You knew I had it always around you. I was always talking about it.
But regardless, my personal feelings of like, of just joy of, you know, discovering Doctor Who and the new stuff was great. I think most people will agree. It's globally, it did well, right? Like all throughout up until this last.
Oh yeah, iteration. I mean, it's been
the
on
numbers
a steady
they were
decline.
Putting down.
Yeah,
were great. So,
in fairness to it, though, I mean, it's like it's been around so long. Like it's rode that steady decline. That's just the decline of television in general, as far as ratings go. So you got to be fair in that regard. But yeah, I mean, like it's had better days. And most of those better days were under Russell T Davies. And, I didn't like, I appreciate him more now, Mr. Moffat, now that he's gone.
Right.
He quite
don't know what you got.
He quite annoyed me as well. But
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I thought Chibnall could come in there and clean up what Moffat had done. And man, did he wreck it even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, just I won't even get into this stuff because it just makes me look like a dickhead. The stuff I would say about it, man. Yeah.
That's fine. We all have our own personal taste, right?
Yep.
We can just leave it at that.
That's right. Yeah, let me leave it at that. You don't want my opinion on that.
Right.
But I took it better. I took it better than some others did. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the beginning, we didn't mention people's thumbs.
We didn't, man. I didn't say. Please subscribe. Please give us a like. It's muy important. We're up to 28 now. I don't know. I don't know if I told you about the newest one.
No.
28th. That happened a week or two ago.
You.
Yes, thank you for joining us. We're so happy you did. And leave us a like, a comment, anything. We're gaining traction slowly but surely, and that's all good. We got different ideas for the future anyway.
We're going to see what pans out.
Yeah, indeed. So, with that, I think we're going to wrap it up, and I'll say, as always, thank you guys so much for joining us. Be excellent to each other, and as always, we'll see you on the flip side.
Thanks all.
Yeah. Peace out.